and there was never a minute on Monday night where I thought they were going to win that game. So I think that's the problem right now. It's just not necessarily the record, but it's the way they've looked in these games.
Hello and welcome to Gangs All Here. My name is Ryan Sampson, the host and producer of the show. That's my Jets beat writer, Brian Costello, and that's my guy, Frankie Vinariti from U Stadium. Today is Friday, October 3rd. The New York Jets are coming off a pretty tough loss Monday night against the Dolphins. Frankie and I were doing a live stream, pretty rough watch. Coz was down there in Miami. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll break down Steve Wilkes' comments about this defense. We'll talk about the Jets injuries, what's going on there, the situation, and then we're going to preview this game, Jets versus Cowboys at home. But before we get to anything, as always, I'll start with Coz. How you doing today on this Friday morning, sir?
I'm good, Ryan. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm a little up because the Yankees are giving me some life here. This is a nice to see one team in New York actually win a playoff series, or get into the playoffs and actually win something. So, I'm good. Frankie, how are you, sir?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm wondering and I'm thinking about if Justin Fields could channel his inner Cam Schlittler this weekend, and I might have an interesting prediction for you guys later, so I'll save that for later. But I'm feeling good, right? You know, I'm a Yankee fan, like you both are, and
I don't.
I'm not
Coz is
I'm
not a
not a
Yankee
Yankee fan.
fan.
oh,
He's
you're
not
not
a
a Yankee
I'm
Yankee
not
fan
a
at
fan.
Yankee.
all. So who
No.
do you like? You
I covered
agnostic?
baseball. I covered them. Yeah, but I'm not
Coz
a
has to
Yankee
be
fan.
neutral. No fan. No fan.
Yep.
Um, so look, hopefully, Frankie, your prediction's not as bad as last week with the Jets, because you are 0-4 in the season picking games,
Damn
sir.
it.
So look, fellas, I'll start with you guys. 0-4. This is a season that I think a lot of Jets fans look. We didn't have many expectations for the team, but I will be the first to admit I didn't think it was going to be this bad. 0-4, and especially how it's looked on the field, the product wise. So, what is your takeaway here? 4 games into the season, 0-4. It's not been pretty.
Yeah, I think it's what you just said, Ryan. It's not really about the record, it's about the way they've looked. Outside of the Pittsburgh game, which I thought, they played pretty well that day until the fourth quarter. It really, hasn't been good, and they really haven't put together more than like one good quarter a game in these like last couple of games. Like the Bucks, the fourth quarter, obviously they played well. I thought against the Dolphins, it really maybe a little bit of third and the fourth, but it's kind of these scores are misleading to me. Like they in my mind, I haven't thought they were going to win a game
Yeah.
since Pittsburgh. Right when they were up on Pittsburgh, I'm like, all right, they're gonna win this game. There was never a moment against Buffalo. There was never even a moment against Tampa. Even when they went ahead on the field goal, we talked about it. You looked at minute 49, you're like, oh, they're gonna lose. And there was never a minute on Monday night where I thought they were going to win that game. So I think that's the problem right now. It's just not necessarily the record, but it's the way they've looked in these games.
Yeah, it certainly has not been pretty with the penalties, the just undisciplined nature, the defense taking a huge step back, things that, I think as fans and as you as the media were just like, we thought Aaron Glenn was going to try and clean the penalties up. There's only so much you can do, right, to tell these guys line up the right way, don't false start, don't hit the guy late. Those things you try to enforce, but if the players just continue to do these things, I, there's might be an evaluation for Aaron Glenn saying, you know what, if they're going to continue to do this, then maybe we need to figure out if this player X is really fit for our team in the future. Because that's what it seems like this team is shifting towards. Cause is now complete evaluation and figuring out what's going to work for this roster going into next season. And it's been a rebuild. That's what the season is going to be about. Am I crazy though to push back and say I didn't expect a rebuild? Like I expected at least a little more competition in these games, and I'm really disappointed with how it's looked.
No, you're not crazy. I will say, if we go back to like August or whatever, and we're looking at the schedule, I think we all kind of said, wow, those first six are kind of tough, right? And
Yeah.
then it eases up after that. Like I do think the Jets will win some games here in the last few months of the season when they're playing lesser competition. Now Miami is 0-3. They probably haven't played as well as we maybe projected in the summer. But like I said, they were a desperate team playing at home. So I thought that favored them. But yeah, I don't no, I don't blame you for feeling like that, Ryan. I think what the whole message this offseason was is the personnel didn't change all that much, right? Quarterback's a big one. That changed. But, the other faces on this team were pretty much the same as last year in terms of the stars and the key players, where everyone kind of got sold. The difference of this team is going to be coaching,
Mm.
right? The coaching is going to be so much better than Salah and Ulbrich gave you. It's going to be better. That was kind of what the Jets' sell was. And I think I've seen glimpses of it. I think the offensive line is being coached a lot better than I've seen it in recent years. I think Tanner Engstrand is doing a good job. Uh, but Steve Wilkes hasn't done a good job. And the penalties, if you believe that penalties reflect on the head coach, then that does not reflect well on Aaron Glenn right now.
Yep. And then I'll toss to you, Frankie. I mean, the turnover differential is another key thing. They are -7. It's the worst in the NFL right now. Heading into last night, I don't know how if the Rams or 49ers affect that, but like it's just for you seeing this is another season where the Jets defense can't turn the ball over. That hasn't gotten any better. The penalties have not gotten any better. Are you giving any hope into this season, or is this now you're fully in the rebuild? And I know I don't want to say this word, but tank mode.
I mean, Ryan, to be honest, with the turnover issue that we're unable to force a turnover, it's not even like we've been that close also to forcing a turnover. You look at that Brandon Stevens play week 1, maybe that's the only real opportunity you had to really force a turnover all year. I mean, you would think with Steve Wilkes and this sort of aggressive nature of defense that we thought he was bringing here would at least be able to put yourself in position to get a strip sack in 4 games, to be able to force something in that nature. Put the quarterback in Tua last week in some bad situations. I mean, they were doing whatever they wanted last week. I mean, Mike McDaniel and that Dolphins offense, they were running a clinic. And that's what's surprising to me is Steve Wilkes, who's a former head coach in this league, who went to a Super Bowl with that San Francisco 49er defense, is not able to put a defense that we thought is semi-star studded. I mean, you have Quinn and you have Sauce Gardner. You have players. We just paid Jamie Sherwood a boatload of money. Everyone's talking up Will McDonald and Jermaine. I know Jermaine's been hurt, but you would figure that he'd put these guys in a position at least once in 4 games, over 250 snaps, to be able to make a play on a football. I haven't seen any of these guys in positions to make plays on a football ever at all. Like there's not been one play. I'm like, oh, if we'll just, if he just swiped over, he might have been able to knock the ball out of the quarterback's hand. And the other alarming side to that is Aaron Glenn was a defensive coordinator last year. He is a defensive coordinator at heart. He was coordinating one of the best defenses, I guess, although that's debatable, but one of the best teams in football. How are they not able to get into a room, Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes, and muster up something that is gonna put the opposing quarterback, in bad situations? They haven't been able to do that. It's alarming. And to answer your question, Ryan and Kaz, of course it's a rebuild. And I think it's always been a rebuild. It's their first year head coach, first time GM in Darren Muji. What did we expect? You're not gonna.
Remember,
Yeah.
only one person, Frankie, here picked 10 wins, right?
Oh yeah, this guy.
I'm regretting that immediately, obviously.
Well,
I
I'm
get
also 0 and
Yeah.
4 picking them
Look,
this year, so I've been picking them.
look,
Because nobody thought they were going to be. We thought they'd be bad, not this bad, right?
yeah.
Look, I thought there was a chance they could start like this.
Yeah.
I did. But to me, the part that I thought was the offense was going to be really tough because new quarterback, new coordinator, a lot of new pieces on the offense. I thought the defense would kind of carry them here, and the offense
Yeah.
might struggle. It's been the opposite. So I didn't see this defense coming. The part with the turnovers, that's like just amazing to me, is there's a good amount of luck involved in turnovers, right? And like if you watch this week, I don't know if you guys remember this play because wasn't that significant, but Tua got a bad snap to his right, and he dropped it, and the running back was right there to fall on it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Against Baker. Harrison Phillips did knock it out of Baker's
Yes.
hands. And all of a sudden, there's an offensive lineman 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage who jumps on the ball. Like, what's he doing there? It's bizarre. Like, they can't recover a fumble. And I think there's been a few more plays, Frankie, than you. There was a tip ball against Josh Allen too that I think Sauce could have
Sauce.
had.
Yeah, in the middle of the
And
field.
like it's like tips lead to like
Tips and
sometimes there's
overthrows.
just fluky interceptions. Yeah, tips and overthrows that just lead to like fluky interceptions. They're not even getting those.
Cause a
And
stat
so
for
it's
you, a
bizarre.
stat for you. The Jets have fumbled 8 times. Their opponents have recovered 6 of them. Jets opponents have fumbled 6 times. We've recovered 0 of them.
I know. And there is
That's the
some
luck.
luck, like
Yeah.
there is some luck involved in it. So, but yeah, it's bizarre. You'd think it would flip at some point, I guess.
Yeah, you think it would. But I think I go back to, and this is just how I want to wrap this fellas for this part of the discussion. They are not in these games, like you said, Kaz, in the beginning. They're
Yeah.
not, and that to me was like something I think Aaron Glenn was maybe preaching, or maybe I read too much into his comments because he said the whole "we're going to coach these guys up they've never been coached before." I want the Jets fans to be proud of this. I can tell you right
Yeah.
now, as a Jets fan, I'm not proud of this product. I think this is hot garbage on the field. You're lucky to be in these games because these teams let their foot off the pedal. And I think we're at
Yeah.
the point right now where I think you could honestly hold some critique at Aaron Glenn because
Yeah.
this is not a good product.
Let me be clear on this though, Ryan. And I think I would speak for all of us on this because I've seen this conversation going on Twitter. You can be critical of Aaron Glenn and not be saying fire Aaron Glenn, right? I
No,
don't think anyone
no,
is
no, no.
there. Like that's ridiculous. 4 games in, we went through this with Gase, right? Where
Yeah.
people wanted to fire Gase 4 games in, and that was ridiculous then. It's ridiculous now. Like it's this is going to take some time, and yes, it hasn't looked good. He hasn't been able to turn it quickly in terms of not even the wins, just making it look better. Um, but yeah, I mean it hasn't been good, and like you said, it's just. I like that comment that he said you want Jets fans to be proud. You can be proud of this team. I think you guys were proud after Pittsburgh. I
Yep.
think it was okay. But and the thing with the Jets turnovers is like I get it. Aaron Glenn would say all turnovers are bad, right? But sometimes you throw a ball 40 yards downfield on 3rd and 19 and the guy intercepts it and it's not the end of the world. The Braylon Allen fumble completely changed that game. Like the Jets, if the Jets go in there, they're
For
feeling
sure.
good. They're ahead. It's just a different game completely to me. And then you look up, I think I did this. I don't know if you guys did. You look up at halftime, you're like, holy crap, it's 10-3.
That's what I said to
Like
Frankie. It's only 10
they
3.
it's 10-3. They played horribly and they're down by a touchdown. So I'm sure in the locker room the message was, hey, look, we're down by a touchdown as bad as we played, as many penalties we committed, turnovers. Let's go out there. We get the ball, go down and score. It's a 10-10 game. We're in this, right? And then Isaiah Williams fumbles the ball. And it's like those are killer turnovers, just killer. And the Dolphins went down and scored from there, and now it's 17-3. And what we've talked
Yeah.
about, the Jets are not a play from 2 touchdowns behind type of team.
No, they
Totally.
certainly are not. And that brings me to the gang sounds off. So look, Steve Wilkes was asked about the frustration of the Jets defense and not having a takeaway this season. His quote was, "We just got to be able to be there and come up with the opportunities. We've had our chances at certain times. We just got to finish," which speaks to what Kaz had said earlier about these fumbles are on the ground. They're not falling on them. They just not the luck is not there for the fumble part. But I want to twist this to the Steve Wilkes part in the discussion. The heat cannot be higher on him, I feel like, right now, because of the way the Jets defense and what Frankie said too. It was simple concepts that Tua and the Dolphins offense was running. There's a lot of mesh concepts. I mean, the
The crossing routes were
routes,
unbelievable.
they just can't
The
handle that
bootlegs.
or the bootleg. It's just
I mean, the one bootleg to Tyreek, I think it was in the second quarter, like at midfield. I actually paused it where I was watching it and showed my son, and I was like, count how many guys are on that side of the
oh,
field. So I was
it
like,
was
there were 8 guys on that side of the field, and then just the three defensive backs, and it's like, holy cow, But that, like, I think Tyler Barron was the defensive end on that. Like that, I'm guessing at the responsibilities there, but I'm gonna guess he was the one that should have been staying home on containing there, and he totally got sucked in. And you're playing a fifth-round pick at that. That's tough.
Even on that play to HN, Kaz, Barron got sucked in there. The thing is, they know that we're running man and they're running these mesh concepts and these misdirections. They can't cover across an entire field. That's a tough play for man. I mean, you
Yeah.
as a corner playing man, you have to sort of be tipped off or at least know that route in some way to be able to have a step on it. Wilkes has got to get out of man. not to get too technical, but they're just in man all in the worst possible spots throughout a game. We play press man more than any team in football, by the way. I think he should probably change that a little bit. Glenn likes to run zone. Let's start running more zones. And I think
Yeah, and
our
I think
personnel is more zone based anyway in terms of what they can do. Sorry.
yes, I think Sauce for sure is better
Yeah.
off in that. Because people are like, "Oh, what's going on with Sauce?" I'm not sure they're using him right. I'm not sure they're playing to his
Yeah.
strengths right now, and I think they do need to look at more zone, Frankie.
It's a good point. I think, if you want to talk about finishing as well, 4th and goal, I'm paying you the highest paid corner in the NFL, Sauce,
Yep.
a guy off the street in Darren Waller, got to make a play on that ball. Break it up or push him out of bounds, like Frankie said, try to body him a little bit. We're not getting that play from him. And
Yeah.
it's frustrating to watch that he seems to be taking a, I don't know if I want to call it a turn for the worse, but like it's a down year right now for Sauce. Like, he still has a chance to turn it around. Like, that's the thing. Like, cause do they turn it around? Does this defense get any better? Like, do you see a
Yeah.
sense of them getting better? Because I could see a guy like Mayawaga, I wouldn't play him. The guy was getting sucked up in the run every single play, and the mesh concepts. He was
So who you
floating.
playing? Who you playing?
I know, but he just
That's what
floated in
they'd say to you.
space.
Look, I think it'll get better because I'm looking over my schedule here. Bryce Young, Jake Browning, Dylan Gabriel.
Mm.
Um, I'm not going to even put Drake May in this category because he's playing well. Michael Penix, right? Uh, Spencer Rattler, right? Those are quarterbacks that are on your schedule. So I know Tua is not highly thought of. I think two is not bad. Two is not in that category. So you got some quarterbacks coming up and some offenses coming up where the defense is going to look better. They better. If we're talking about Jake Browning and Dylan Gabriel carving them up, then there's bigger issues than we even think right now.
Wouldn't shock me right now. Frankie, what if for you do you need to see more of from this defense? You said zone coverage. Is there anything that they can do? I mean, they had 0 sacks again. I know Jermaine Johnson's day to day. Is your sense he's not playing this week?
Yeah, he didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, Wednesday he didn't practice, but they projected him as he did not practice, and Thursday he didn't practice. So yeah, I can't see him. I would think if was on track, he would have been at least limited Thursday. So I don't see him playing Sunday.
And Frankie, like Wilkes said, do they need a finish? So I saw some Will McDonald pressures. He was trying to spin move. I think he had some plays. Quinnen was getting double teamed a lot. He actually finished really well in the run grade. Is it just a matter of those two guys making more plays for them to get some pressure on the quarterback?
100%, man. And we'll know this Sunday. We'll know on Sunday what that looks like because the Cowboys pass protection is considered one of the worst in the NFL. So let's see what Will McDonald's able to do against Tyler Guyton and what they're able to do against that Dallas offensive line, which has struggled to protect Dak. Dak actually has almost 100 yards this year throwing under pressure, which is by far the most in football. So I want to see what they do against Dak and how they're able to pressure him. If Dak looks like Tua looked like, where they're just running basically whatever they want, and we can't get within a foot of the quarterback, Dak Prescott in this situation, we have major, major issues this year, obviously, and with the defensive coordinator next year. And maybe with the head coach if he's not able to sit in that room, being a defensive guy, and put something together to get pressure on Dak. I think the game plan, if you want to get into the game, is pretty simple defensively. You either can pressure them with 4 or you can't. If you can't, get pressure on Dak via the blitz. I mean, it's not that complicated, but you got to execute it where the offense doesn't know what's coming. So that'll be interesting to see. But Ryan and Kaz, if Dak Prescott is dicing us up back there, and he's looked very good this year, but
Yeah.
he's looked really good with a lot of pressure on him, is that sustainable? If he is, we got major issues with this defensive coordinator and defense in general.
Yeah, and look,
And I think
go ahead.
Ryan, the pass rush, it goes back to what we were just talking about with guys running open. I mean, Tua was getting rid of the ball quickly.
Totally.
I didn't see the number of what is, but like when you're watching it, it was like he was not having to hold the ball at all because this guy was running open and this guy was running open. And so, yes, we can fault Quinnen or Will McDonald, but to me, it's like if you don't Like I remember Sally used to say, you want the guy to have two hitches, right? If you get him two hitch, you're gonna get to the quarterback. But if he doesn't have to hitch once, very hard to sack the guy if he's just sitting back there and slinging it. And I thought McDaniel did a good job of moving the pocket and the bootlegs and all that stuff. So I put the pass rush on the coverage in the last game, almost because they just didn't make him hold the ball at all.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
he was getting the ball out quick. And I think it's got to be complimentary to this defense. If you're not having good coverage in the back end, like you said, the front four can't get after the quarterback, and they're going up against one of the best offenses in football this week. What a way to go into the next week. Fellas, let's do some news and notes and then key matchup. Braylon Allen placed on IR. I saw Kaz that surgery is potentially on the table, so we don't know if he's out for the year with the MCL injury. We talked about Jermaine Johnson. Jarvis Brownlee will make his debut, it looks like. Michael Carter's dealing with concussions, so I don't know if that's exactly a 1-for-1 because you said Brownlee has played outside. He could play the slot. And the Cowboys defense is giving up the most yards in the NFL, guys. Those are my news and notes. Going into that, what is the key matchup for you for this Jets Cowboys game? I'll start with Kaz.
Well, boy, I haven't even thought about it, Ryan. The key matchup. I guess it's Dak versus Steve Wilkes, right? From what we talked about. I guess it's
That
that.
sounds terrifying.
Because like you got Dak has the most passing yards in the NFL right now. He's
Yep.
he's having a good year, and they don't have CD, so there's that. But Pickens played really well last week, so I think yeah, is can Steve Wilkes dial something up to slow down Dak Prescott is the key matchup to me.
Frankie?
I have a key matchup for everybody. How about Mr. Showtime back there, our star-studded corner that everyone has been in love with for years, the number one highest paid corner in football. What are you going to do against George Pickens? What are you going to do against a receiver that loves to be physical at the point of attack? How is Sauce going to deal with that? Because we're going to have at least, I would say, 2-3 plays where that ball is going to be up in the air. It's going to be Pickens on Sauce. Are you making plays on the ball? Are you intercepting the ball? Maybe is that possible? Are you going to deflect it? Are you going to hold the guy? I want to see how Sauce looks in this game. If he doesn't look good in this game, we should, and I'm going to be a little negative here, we should question giving Sauce that deal a year too early rather than a year later. I'm just going to say, if Sauce can't stop George Pickens, and George Pickens is a pretty good receiver to very good, I like him probably more than the average fan does or analyst or media member, but he's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not A.J. Brown. He's not DK Metcalf. It's George Pickens. What are you going to do? His advantage, George Pickens, is he's physical, loves to high point the ball, doesn't get much separation. Sauce is almost the opposite. So I want to see is Sauce going to be able to offset a receiver that may not match up well against him. You're the highest paid corner in football. Let's see what you can do. So it's Sauce versus Pickens. I'm going to be looking at that matchup all day.
I think that's 100% a great matchup, Frankie. And then for me, fellas, I'll switch it to the offensive side of the ball. This Cowboys defense is the worst in the NFL in terms of yardage that they give up. They are struggling.
And points.
And points. I mean, this is a get right game for the offense in terms of can they be consistent on the offensive side of the ball? It's not about hey, great drive in the start, fumble the ball at the goal line, then we struggle for the next quarter and a half, and then they let the foot off the gas. Hey, now we're going to do check down Charlie and just work our way methodically down the field. It's got to be a consistent offensive game plan. I don't want to see a conservative game plan, Kaz, where we're running the ball on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Not a great game plan, in my opinion, especially when you're down 2 scores. You got to be able to throw the ball downfield. I think Justin is afraid to pull the ball downfield a little bit. We saw it a lot last week. And by the way, can we get Arian Smith involved? Can we get him involved in this passing attack? He's separated. He's separated.
I saw a play when I was watching the old 22 where it was clearly they did design a shot to him and there was pressure in Fields' face real quickly. I think he ended up throwing it away. But like when I watched it, I was like, oh, that was supposed to go deep to Arian Smith.
Yeah, I saw that one too. His explosiveness pops off on the film, and I think he's got the ability to separate. And the speed is real. So I wonder if they can get him involved. Mason Taylor was really encouraging, I think. Stay on your feet, though. Stay on your feet. So for me, it's the offense. Be consistent. Be able to put consistent drives together like you did against the Steelers. do it against this Cowboys defense this week, and it'll actually. I think they actually have a chance in this game. But if they go down quick, 2 scores, I don't want to see another conservative game plan of we're running the ball on 3rd and 5.
And
Ryan, so
I say on that for Ryan to get Garrett involved early. And as much
yeah,
as we're dragging sauce right within the contract, Garrett's looked like he's worth every penny.
Yep.
Through 4 games, I thought he's played incredibly well, and he's elevated his game to a different level where he's scoring more touchdowns. He should have had 2 in that game. Obviously, the pass interference call was awful, and the amazing thing, and I was on a Dallas radio station yesterday or 2 days ago, and they asked me about Garrett, and I said, "All right, guys, like these are 3 guys who cover the Cowboys in our sport." I said, "Name me the Jets' number 2 wide receiver,"
I like that.
and they were like, Braylon Edwards."
They
But
said
it's the
that.
truth. Like we know the situation because we watch every down. But if you
That's
think
great.
about it, if you're in Dallas or Las Vegas or Seattle, do you think anyone knows that Josh Reynolds is on the Jets?
No.
That's
Right?
how
Like
bad it is.
that's how bad it is. And so if I'm Matt Eberflus this week, I'm sitting going, okay, number 5, we got to take him away. Take him away, and they don't have anything else. And I'm assuming every defensive coordinator this year has said that. And still, Garrett he's gotten over 80 yards in every game except the Buffalo game, which was just an all around mess for the offense. He scored 3 touchdowns in his first 4 games. Like, so I think we do need to, as I know we're dwelling on the negatives, their own 4. Garrett has been a really big bright spot for this team, in my opinion.
I could not
Something
agree more.
I just want to add one quick thing off what you guys are saying. This is a big game for Justin Fields because if you look at Dallas's defense, and I was looking at some next gen stats, they give up an EPA, it's an expected points added of 0.41. That's what you give up to in MVP seasons, like to quarterbacks. So that's like what Tom Brady would have had in 2007 in terms of his EPA, or Peyton Manning in 13. So if you look at Dallas's defense, they are giving up an incredible amount of these expected points to opposing quarterbacks, over a 73% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns. They've only gotten 1 interception. So I want to see what Fields looks like in this game. I think this is a game you're going to say, is Justin able to throw for close to 300 yards, or a clean 265, 270? Not something like we saw you to a 226, but of which 80% or whatever it was came in the end of the 3rd quarter into the 4th. So I want to see what kind of game we see out of Justin Fields. I think that'll be telling in terms of, is this guy able to run a passing-ish offense, or is it like going to be gimmicky the entire time?
Check down Charlie.
Yeah.
How was the live stream Monday?
It was fun.
Oh, it was great. It was. I wish you were on it.
Yeah, we had some people throwing super chat money at us to see if Frankie could do
I saw
push-ups.
I saw it pop up on my feed a couple times, and I will say, Beavis and Butthead did come to mind for me when I saw it.
I almost put
Nice.
my shirt over my head. I almost cornholioed it.
We did go. We did get pretty good responses to the Braylon Allen fumble. Couldn't
God,
believe when
I'm
that
sure.
happened. That was fun. It was good to put together. The chat was awesome. People were great talking about and going back and forth in the game. So I'll keep it a little lighthearted for you guys. Let's go do some trivia. This is my time to stump Coz. He's
Oh
got
boy, you gave me an easy one last
maybe
week.
an easy one last week. I think you're gonna get this one. I have faith in you. So fellas, you know what's funny? Do you guys remember the last time the Jets started 0-4 in a season?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
2020.
And then do you remember their first win of the season?
No. Last time was 2020 when they went 0-13.
Sorry, 0-13.
You're talking about 2019.
2019.
When they beat the Cowboys
Correct.
They beat the Cowboys week 5.
So they beat the Cowboys in week 5. The Jets play the Cowboys in week 5. Can you name me what Jets player has the most receiving yards in a single game versus the Cowboys all time?
I would say Robbie Anderson, because that game he had like a, what was it, 80 something yard touchdown from Sam.
I think it was
Right.
97 yards.
97 yards from
97
the end
yards,
zone.
was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the I was
Yes.
at that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
October
Yeah, and then-
19th, 5 catches, 125 yards, 1 touchdown in 2019. That is the most receiving yards a Jets player has had
Really?
in a single game versus the Cowboys all time. Robbie Chosen Anderson.
Can't stump
Yeah.
Coz, man.
and then Jamal made the play at the end of the game to secure the game. Right, he broke up a pass. Yeah, that was
Leonard,
uh that was when Jamal was that was his best season.
yep,
Yep.
Jamal, Leonard Williams was on that team. They had Sam. They had some guys
Yeah.
on that team.
I thought Sam Darnold was could have been, maybe not was, but could have been the answer at quarterback after that game. I remember leaving with my Cowboys friend,
Well,
and I'm like, we got the quarterback right, man. He's better
do you
than your
remember a week?
guy.
Do you remember a week later?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, what was,
Ghosts. The
yeah,
Ghost
that
game
was
was
a
a week
ghost
later.
game. You're right. How Jets is that? The guy has
Yes.
his best performance, arguably, where you have the most confidence, and then you cannot ruin anyone's momentum or confidence any worse than the week after.
And the
That's just
first
so
Gangs
harsh.
All Here podcast was the day after the Ghost game.
Was it really?
Yes.
And it hasn't been the same since, you
That was a
know?
rough one. That was a rough one. Joe Namath was our first guest. That was a rough one.
Oh God, that
Oh, that's
hurts.
cool.
That's cool, but that
Yeah.
hurts. All right. Wow. I didn't stump Kaiser. All right, so here we go. Over unders, and then we're gonna pick this game. Last week,
Cos
Kaz went,
crushed, didn't he?
yeah, 6-1. 6-1
All
for
right.
Mr. Ryan
Rebound week.
Costello. Rebound week. Frankie was 4-3. So on the season, Kaz is 15-14. Frankie is 14-15. One game
Are you
separation.
sure I'm 14 and 15? I've been doing pretty good. I was 500 a few weeks
You
before.
were
I
you
was
were
over 500.
horrible to start, remember? And then you got off to a really bad
All
start, but now
right, all
you
right.
rebounded. You're 14 and
Okay.
15. All right.
Trying to get you, Cos.
So look, I wanted anytime touchdown scorer since you guys that was a Frankie had Braylon Allen. Tough, tough, tough,
And I
tough.
bet Braylon Allen too,
Yeah,
Cos. We talked before. I bet Braylon Allen first touchdown. I actually bet him.
that was tough. And
So
Kaz had
mean.
Garrett Wilson, so should have had two touchdowns. So you
Jeez
Kaz hit
Louise.
one, Frankie did not. I'll start with Kaz. Can you give me an anytime touchdown scorer?
So I thought, Garrett's almost cheating at this point, Ryan, right? So, because I think you could go Garrett every week at this point, and I'm sure the odds are really not good for Garrett. So I'm going to give you one where I think you'd get better bang for your buck. I'm going to go Mason Taylor. I
I like
thought
that.
I thought there was some good things from him last week, and I do think the Jets are going to be able to move the ball in this game and have some red zone possessions. And I know Jets fans aren't familiar with this concept, but sometimes when you're in the red zone, you should throw to the tight end for a touchdown. And I know Safarian Jenkins, there's a lot of
Oh,
stars, but like, maybe they can target Mason Taylor in the red zone and have a tight end score a touchdown down there. So I'll go Mason Taylor, Ryan. I'm not sure what the odds are on that, but should be better than Garrett.
I think that's pretty good. Well, I'm looking up the odds. Frankie, who's your anytime touchdown scorer?
I'm gonna take one that I'm pretty confident in. It'll have worse odds, I guess, than with Cos. Cos, your odds will probably be what, around like plus 800, right? Something like that.
For Mr. Mason Taylor, it's plus 380.
Okay, higher than I thought. Okay. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go Justin Fields rushing touchdown. I think Justin gets a rushing touchdown in
Plus
this game.
125.
All right, yeah, a little higher. Yeah, I'm going Justin Fields rushing touchdown. I need one right here.
I actually like both of those. Those are pretty good right there, guys. All right, now let's talk about Dak Prescott. 239 and a half pass yards. Kaz, what do you got?
Over. That seems low to me.
That's FanDuel. You can get it right
Yeah.
now.
All right. Over, yeah. I go over.
Frankie?
Going over. That should be like 255 or
I
something.
agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was shocking too, but I'm looking right now at the FanDuel app. If you want to bet on quarterback passing props, Dak Prescott currently is at 239 and a half. Seems like an easy line to hammer right there. Justin Fields, but don't forget, CeeDee Lamb is not there. But still, they've been throwing the hell of the football. Justin Fields, 1.5 passing touchdowns.
There
I
we go.
go. Go ahead, Frankie. Yeah.
I'll go. I'm gonna go under.
Under. Okay. So you're saying they hold Dak to one touchdown pass, huh?
No.
Wait.
You said
Fields.
Fields.
Sorry. Justin Fields. Justin Fields.
Yeah,
One and a half.
I think he's gonna throw one.
Yeah.
He'll rush for one, and
Okay.
someone else will rush for one.
Kaz?
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I think
Okay.
I think Mason Taylor scores his one, and then they rush for under touchdowns.
All right. And then we got George Pickens, 72 and a half receiving yards.
I'll go over.
Okay. Frankie?
I'm also gonna go over.
Okay, and then we'll go Garrett Wilson, 62 and a half receiving yards.
Over.
I'm gonna
Frankie?
go under.
Under for Garrett. He's hit the over almost every game besides the Bills.
Yeah, I think
You're
they're gonna
right.
key on him big time.
Okay, and then Brees Hall, we got 66 and a half rushing yards. 66 and a half.
I'll go over.
I'm gonna go over too.
Okay, and then Justin Fields, the last one here. We got a rushing prop, 48 and a half rushing yards.
Mm,
It's a lot.
under. Under. I
I'm
mean, he had
going up.
43 on one run last week, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
on 4th and 1. Broken play, too. That wouldn't have been that
Just like
game.
Gangster drew it up.
Yep, exactly. So, there's all about narrative here, fellas. And now we're going to talk about this game. Pickett, it's plus 2.5, Jets at home. I'll start with Frankie.
Oh,
Give me
please.
your bold prediction for this game.
I'm taking a page out of Mr. Costello's book here that I should have listened to the entire year. Don't think too much. I've been thinking too much. It's a big problem of mine. I'm not going to go into some diatribe here. I'm going chalk. I'm picking Dallas. Dallas is going to they're going to beat us, and it's not going to be particularly close. I think the Jets have a lot to work on defensively. Brian Schottenheimer's coming back here. Obviously has a bone to pick, I'd assume, with Woody and the Jets and whatever else, he wants to do there. So I'm picking Dallas. I think their offense is just got too many weapons, and we haven't spoken much about Javonte Williams, who I really like as a back on the ground. Jake Ferguson getting his yak and moving across the middle is going to be dangerous. If they run exactly, and I hope they don't, but if they study what Miami did, they can do a lot of similar things. Personnel wise, they got some similarities there. So Dallas likes to use the middle of the field. I think with Jermaine probably not going to play, right?
Yeah.
It's looking like. So I'm just taking Dallas. I think my score prediction is 27-21.
You said not close.
Yeah, it's going
I
to be
just,
one of those games though.
Oh,
Like,
same thing as the
yeah,
that's
same
last
thing.
week's score.
Yeah, last week's score. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have last week's score down. So, yeah, it's going to be one of the. I'm not saying they're going to blow us out. Like Ryan, you had what 31-10 last week. I'm not going there, but
It was going that way until
It
a
was,
couple
it was.
plays happened, by the way.
yeah, it's going to be somewhat of a game like that. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we have the lead, then we just give it right back, and
All right.
that's how it's gonna. That's how the
Kaz?
cookie will crumble.
This is the first time I've thought the Jets could win now that Frankie's going against them. I feel
well,
like
I'm 0-4, so you can't.
I know. Now I'm kind of like, oh well, this this could be the Jets week.
2019 all
Um,
over again.
I'm shocked that it's only 2.5.
Same.
The Cowboys defense
I
is
get it.
bad,
Dallas only has
fellas.
one win, but I'm shocked.
They made
No, I'm
Russell
going
Wilson look
Cowboys.
good.
They did. I'm going Cowboys here. I think you know, I think they need this one. They've only got one win too. I think I don't think it'll be particularly close. I'm gonna go 35-23. I'll
Hmm.
go with. I think Dak's gonna have his way with the Jets defense and carve them up. So yeah, 0-5 would be tough, guys. That's you know, he'd be Aaron Glenn will be the first Jets coach to ever start his career 0-5. They went 0-5 in 2000, obviously, or 2020 rather, when they went 2-14. But even around here, 0-5 hasn't happened too often.
It's pretty close to what Mark Hale said you would pick, Kaz. He said you would pick them by 2 scores for Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to be on the Cowboys here. I really wanted to
Oh,
pick.
Pick the
man, I'm
Jets,
really
Ryan.
thinking
Come-
Jets now.
I wanted.
Ryan,
I
I'm
wanted.
0-4. Ryan, if there's any game they're gonna win, it's this one.
I
I'm
wanted to
the
pick
jinx
them.
on this team. So
I wanted to pick them this week. I honestly did because I think the Cowboys defense is really an issue. But this Jets defense, we can't ignore this, guys. It's putrid. The Jets defense is putrid. It's gross. I hate watching it. I hate watching these linebackers. They can't cover a lick. I think George Pickens might go off against Sauce, and this might be the Sauce's game where, oh, take me out, coach. I got an injury. I'm a little banged up because I made 1 tackle in the game. So I think this might be tough to watch for Jets
Michael
fans.
Clemens had his best game last week, by the way, Ryan. He's getting better. So I'm just saying he might
All
he,
right.
he might, do some things back there in the
How
backfield.
about
So,
this? I got Cowboys close 27-24 over the Jets.
Great cover.
Yeah, they cover. No, they don't. They don't cover.
Yeah, 2.5,
Oh, the
right?
Cowboys cover. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
Cowboys
thinking about the
cover. Yeah.
Jets cover.
No.
Um,
Kaz, what is the thought with that line, Orion? Like what I would have guessed 4.5, 5.5, 2.5. I mean, I know they're traveling, so it's always around three there.
it's 3 points for traveling, and
Yeah,
basically they're saying that this is like a pick'em game and on a neutral site.
Yeah, I guess I mean the Cowboys haven't been that impressive. The Giants game wasn't impressive.
true.
I don't know. I mean, I also think there is a I've heard this theory from gamblers before that whenever a team has a zero, when it gets deeper into the season, you bet on that team. So if a team
Mm.
is 0 and whatever, or a team is whatever and 0, like you bet against that zero is going to disappear. No one's going undefeated. No one's losing every game. So you start. So maybe maybe they're seeing something in Vegas and the Jets that we're not seeing.
I hear you. I just one final thing, Cause you said, and I'm still trying to remember what you said here. You said you can't call a coach for firing, but you just talked about how 0-5 has never happened. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
There's no way you thought this team was going to be 0-5.
No, I did not think 0-5. Like when I think the way I looked at the schedule was the first 6 games, right? That takes us through next week through Denver in London, because then Carolina, Cincinnati was like a completely different game than it did in August. But like those first 6 games, you're like, okay, I think a really good season for them would have been 3-3 through 6 games. I'm like, if you can figure out a way to win 3 of those games, that's great. 2-4 is more likely. And I thought 1-5 was possible. No, I thought they'd get one of Pittsburgh or Miami or Dallas. Honestly, I think I would throw Dallas in there too. I think those were the three. I say, okay, they can win one of those. So maybe they win the Dallas one, and avoid the 0-5 start. But I think Denver's going to be tough in London. So that was my thinking.
Guys, let me ask you a question. And then in general, I mean, if this team finishes 2-15, let's just say, and they're looking good in spots, but overall, it's really not looking that pretty. This team, and we need to talk about this now. We have a lot of shows, I guess, or content to be made about this stuff, but is this staff, do you actually think, Kaz, that this staff could be on the hot seat to a degree? Or is Glenn, being that he was a former Jet, that relationship with Woody, I feel like he's going to be here for at least a year and a half. I can't see him.
You're
Yeah,
doing it.
Yeah,
You're doing it,
I
Frankie.
can't.
Ryan, it's a relevant question. I know I'm doing it, but it's a little bit relevant. No?
I can't envision a scenario where Aaron Glenn isn't here next year. I just can't.
Yeah.
I just don't see
All
that
right.
happening. I also I haven't gotten it strong enough where I could report it, but I've heard what his salary is, and his salary is a lot more than I've ever heard a Jets head coach being paid. So, just from the business perspective, is Woody Johnson really going to eat 4 years of a contract? Like,
Damn.
I just can't see it happening. Now, when you say staff, that's a different story,
True.
because the popular thing right now is to talk about the Lions, right? And the Lions started 0-8. They went 3-13-1. Well, Anthony Lynn was the offensive coordinator for the
Yep.
Lions in 2021. Anthony Lynn got fired after the first season, and then Ben Johnson became the offensive coordinator in 2022. So Steve Wilkes, right? If they're 2-15, yeah, like Steve Wilkes is probably going to be gone. There would be changes. You can't run it back after 2-15, but I don't think Aaron Glenn is, going to be in any jeopardy.
Yeah, I just to finish this up, for me, the things that we were worried about, like the number two receiver, they don't have enough pass rushers, the defensive line depth, and those things have really affected this team. And the fact that it's the same product in terms of bad penalties, not getting stops on third and fourth down, and the offense is just too inconsistent. I'm I'm struggling to find belief that this is the right coaching staff right now. Hopefully the signs are there later in the season, Cause, and that's where I'm going to be trying to focus on. But this
Yeah.
sucks. This sucks. Period.
Well, when you talk about like what this season is about and like you guys like the rebuild or evaluation, to me it's about do they look better in December than they did in September?
Yeah,
And the bar's
totally.
pretty low from September now. But that to me, what it's always been about is can they show improvement? Can they coach them up here? And is can they like we haven't talked about the tackling, right? The tackling is atrocious. Can they fix the tackling? Can just can they make them look like a better football team in December than they look in September? I think that would be progress, and that's something that's probably what you're looking for this season.
And
And to just mention one last thing, Ryan, and to kind of circle this to this game, I think this game is very important for Aaron Glenn because you are playing Denver the week after. That's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination going to London. So Glenn, 0-5, 0-6. You're thinking of 0-6. I mean, like, he's just got to get one, is kind of the point here. Like, you see the rhetoric online and what people are tweeting and what fans are saying. I mean, it's more than I thought. And I'm always in these Twitter groups and spaces and all this crap. And um, fans are getting at this guy worse than I thought. I thought they'd give him a little more leeway. I'm even giving him more leeway. Believe it, like I'm usually the one to jump on a coach's neck and say, "What are you doing here?" And I'm sort of, tempering my expectations a bit. Fans aren't right now. They're coming out hard. Jeff fans are not doing well with this whole 0-4 thing. They're not. They wanted at least some playoff aspirations. They wanted to be there, like we've talked about previously, at that Thanksgiving table and during Christmas and say, "Oh, what if we do this or that? We could make the playoffs." I mean, those dreams are gone. So
yep,
they're not doing well. I'm just saying.
yep. It's another season where you're looking at Tankathon before October.
I
Yeah,
did. I looked at Tankathon
Did you? Yes.
on Indiana
it's
Tuesday
not even
morning.
it's not even a good
Tuesday
quarterback
morning.
draft right now too, which is crazy. Well,
It's
we don't
what?
know. It doesn't look like a great quarterback draft right now too, which is crazy. We'll see, but that's ways away down the line. Can we just win some football games for Garrett, Brees, Sauce? Guys have been losing football a lot, so they need to
Winning.
Quinn. They need to win some football games for those guys too. All right, fellas, that's an episode. I'm looking forward to seeing your coverage throughout the weekend, Kaz. And then enjoy the game Sunday. And we'll talk to you next week and see where this
From
chess team is
London,
at. Yeah, when are you
Oh,
traveling to
great.
London?
Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll catch you before you go to London. Maybe on Monday, I'll do a little recap with you. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's an episode. We'll catch you next week.